So, any notice that anybody was going to not be around for the meeting?
I didn't get an email from anyone that they weren't going to be here. I think we're just waiting on Zach. We're live on YouTube though, so whenever you want to start, you do have a quorum, so you could start.
All right, we're going to go ahead and start then because we do have a quorum. So, welcome everyone for the Village of New Paltz Planning Board regular meeting of Tuesday, December 15, 2020, live stream recorded remotely at 7 p.m. Meetings held on Zoom and live streamed on YouTube, and interested parties may attend the meeting by clicking the link that Alana has on the website. So first thing we're going to do on our business agenda, we have some administrative business followed by 2 public hearings, then 2 application reviews. So first thing we want to do is, did everyone get a chance to look at the December 1st, 2020 minutes?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Do we need to make any edits or changes?
No.
Good. No? Okay. So then we're going to get a motion to approve the minutes.
So motion.
A second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Very good. All right. So the next thing we're going to do is get an update from the Village Board, UCPB, and EPB. Do we have anyone? No. We have Don here. Do we have anyone else? No, we don't. So, Don, why don't you go ahead and let's get you to give us the Environmental Planning Board updates, please.
Thank you, John. I did report to the Planning Board on the site visit we made, Rachel and Tom and I, to the Niffen properties. I think the Environmental Policy Board, when we discussed this, took the big picture view. Rick has said over and over again that subdivision was legal and proper, so there's no reason to look backwards, but we are trying to look forward. And the Village Board has asked me to explore, and I'll do with Rick offline, what the possibilities would be to take a look at that larger area. That's about all I have.
Interesting. Yeah, please let me know how you do that. I would be interested to know how we're going to treat the larger area. I don't see anyone else here. Will is not here.
Yeah, he just called in. I just unmuted him.
Okay. William, you almost missed it, buddy. It's time to rise and shine here. You're on now. And he's muted.
I unmuted him. Hold on.
There we go.
There he is. Hold on. Got it.
Wasn't me.
I just did it. Sorry.
Oh, short-term rental still under consideration. That's the big thing on our docket related to the planning board. So that's my report for now.
Hey, Bill, isn't that here public hearing on the 18th?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I think we meet tomorrow. The public hearing is open. We haven't closed it, so the next meeting, perhaps even the next couple after that, we'll still have a public hearing on it.
It was interesting because one of the course I took today from NICOM dealt with one of the subjects dealt with short-term rentals. So I for some reason, I thought it was the 18th, and I had a schedule that I was going to listen to the public hearing then. But how did it go? What's the outcome? I think it's important for the planning board members to know.
And Bill's.
You muted again? Hold on. Got it.
Thank you. Well, the response has been kind of mixed, I'd say. There have been some people who want further information and further details. And once they learn what the essence of the law is, they seem to be happy with what we're doing. We haven't received any major negative feedback about it, but certainly a lot of positive, with sort of mixed in terms of wanting to know more information.
So is it actually a law now? It's completed?
No, we haven't voted on it. It's a proposed law.
Okay, Bill, thank you very much for your update. We do appreciate it. A couple of other things that we do want to look at for the moment is there is an ethics webinar that has been noted, and the notice has been sent out. So you can look at that as part of the training. Also, notification or training that you need to complete. We've had some emails from Ms. Shaw about that, so there are some training opportunities. If you have it and it's due, if you would please, let's see if we can work on that as quickly as possible. Finally, Zero Place has put together some charging stations, and there has been a note from Corey, and I will just briefly read parts of it to you. He says, Zero Place is adding more electric vehicle charging stations to the site. They're using existing parking spots, so there's no creation or deletion. There is some small infrastructure like the station themselves and panels that would be in addition to the site. It seems like a small ask. It could be a field change if the board would like to approve that. Then we had a little bit of information from our attorney, which says that there's no clear lines when a proposed change from the approved plan qualifies as a field change or not. And the intent is usually change is obviously a minor change consistent with the approved plan. So with this change, this field change, rather than have everything come back to the planning board, and because they are staying within the number of parking spaces they have and actually improving as opposed to deleting something, I think that we should allow Corey to look at those electric vehicle charging stations as a field change, as opposed to having him come back and vote on his site plan again. So I would like a motion to allow Corey, the building inspector, to issue a field change approval for the charging stations at Zero Place.
So motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Very good. So, Alana, if you'll just make sure that Corey knows that the planning board agrees with him for that being a field change. So we also have now time for public comments. Alana, did you field any public comments?
Nothing prior to the meeting, and I'm not seeing anything on the YouTube channel right now.
Okay. So we're going to give everyone just a moment in case someone just heard that and logged in. So tonight, what we're going to be doing is we had PB 2011 and 2012, 21 and 31 Millbrook. We have a public hearing, which will also be followed by an application review of the site plan. These are returning applications for the construction of 2 single-family homes. The applicant has a public hearing scheduled for 12/15. Which is tonight. They provided a copy of the filed driveway easement. Both applications were also reviewed by the Ulster County Planning Board, where a determination of no county impact was made on both. And then we do have an email from Don regarding the environmental updates. We also have PB 2013, is it by Broadhead, returning application from Stewart's for a subdivision regarding the house on 5 Broadhead Avenue. Has the applicant submitted any new materials, Alana, or?
No.
Okay. So they'll need to, they're gonna need to return in order to, let's speak to them here, for the planning board to set a public hearing and for the attorneys to provide us with a negative declaration of seeker.
I think you can set a public hearing tonight though, right?
Yeah. So we'll be able to do that tonight. So have you gotten any comments since we began this? No?
No.
Okay. So let's then consider the public comments are closed, and let's move to the public hearing for the site plan, new residential construction PB 2011 for 21 Millbrook Road, followed by one for PB 2012 31 Millbrook Road. And I don't know why we could not do these together, but we will look at that. So
Rick, can they open both of them at the same time? Or do they have to do it separately? Oh, hold on, let me unmute you.
a muted attorney, my goodness.
You're good.
That's quite a bit of power that she wields. So what was the question again? I'm sorry.
I was asking if they could open the public hearing for both PB 2011 and PB 2012 at the same time.
Yeah, I think it's form over substance to have two separate public hearings.
Okay.
Okay. So with that in mind, we are going to open the public hearings. So I need a motion to open to open the public hearings for both PB 2011 and PB 2012. Second.
Second.
Okay. So there was a visit by Environmental Planning Board, and Rachel, Tom, and Don visited the sites, asked some questions. Placement of the well, just to go through the bullet points quickly. Placement of the wells as represented on the site was confirmed. Zach's observation on the access to the lots, width of the road seemed to anticipate planning board approval of the project. Two cars passed each other. Septic field location seemed to be well thought out and placed as possible given the topography of the lots. Planning board may anticipate another proposed lot. It's anticipated that another project, that's right now. Let's see, comprehensive review, sensitive location. So that gives us kind of the points that are actually germane to the site plans right here. So public hearing is open on these two site plans. Do we have anybody that wishes to speak at the public hearing?
There's nothing on the YouTube channel right now, and I also didn't receive anything in writing prior.
Rachel says she's not able to hear. The sound is distorted. If everyone can kind of mute themselves, I do hear a little bit of echo that's going on. It might be a little bit easier to hear. Yes, Zach, you have a tech solution?
No, actually, I just had a quick question about the public comment or clarification. So we should hold our comments and questions back for now, right? We'll have time to discuss after the public hearing section.
Correct. Public comments section is a time when the public can come and speak to really about anything that's before the board without speaking directly about an application that is on that night. A public hearing is designed to allow the public to speak about the specific site plan or the specific issue that is before the board. And that gives them the opportunity to provide any input that they would like to provide. After they're closed, then we move to an application review. And at that point, that's when the board should weigh in on their thoughts, issues, any points of substance that they may have regarding the application at that time.
Okay.
Okay. So we are not seeing any public, anyone here to speak to the the two site plans.
Not seeing anybody.
Okay. So with that in mind, then I would like to get a motion to close the public hearings.
So motion.
Second. Raquel is holding up her two fingers because she is muted.
Second.
So
We're all muted, but
true. So why don't we try unmuting the boards, the members of the board, so that we can be able to collect their comments. So with that, we're going to open the application review for site plan PB 2011.
Bill Murray has a question. Hold on.
Yes. Okay.
I just unmuted him.
Yeah, it's been difficult to get a word in because of the muting situation, but I think we should keep the public hearing open for another session. We're hearing from residents that it's very difficult at this time to sort of keep up with things with the village, and we experienced that at one meeting previously, and perhaps that would be a good idea for in this case.
Well, a couple of issues there. That first off, Will, has to come from a member of the board. We appreciate your advisory status, but that has to come from a member of the board. Secondly, how long should we, in theory, keep open a public hearing on this issue or other issues? Because not everyone in the public has had the opportunity. I mean, I think that the applicant has probably followed the rules and made sure that notification was out. I think that it's been posted on our website as well. I think there's been quite a bit of notification for this over the past period of time. This is the third meeting that we've been working on this. So I understand the need to have the public well aware and give the public the opportunity to speak. But at some point, I think that we have to believe that the public has had adequate notification and adequate opportunity to speak. But that is a decision that the board will get to make. So if someone would like to bring that up, they can, and then we can vote on it. But until we have that, we need to move ahead, and we have actually already closed that public hearing.
Well, I'm sorry, John. I couldn't speak when it was motioned and seconded, but I agree, and I think Rachel was in the same situation.
yes.
I agree that we should keep this open for at least another week. I know that there were even members of the EPB that were not fully aware of this situation, and I had some, I think that it's important still to get more input from this. This is a very environmentally sensitive area, and I think there could be more done to address some of the concerns that might come up. And
again, that application review part is where the planning board gets to speak to that issue, as opposed to the public hearing. The public hearing is for the public, for the people not associated with the school.
yes, and I believe that the public does have some input, some more input to give.
If I could, I just have to agree with John in the sense that there are these processes that are in place, and we have timeframes that, just to be fair both to the public and to the applicant, that we have to adhere to. And I know that letters were sent out as where they were supposed to. So I agree that I'm sure there's input, but I don't understand why we're not hearing it during the defined time.
I think this is different. I don't know if I can speak, but can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so the reason I think this is a little different is because it's not like a normal development where you are, posting the signs where the public can actually see them. Because of the fact that he's actually sort of extending a road, with what's being called a driveway, that's the only place where the public hearing notice was placed. But actually, the public who would be affected most by this development wouldn't see that, because for the entire development borders around what is now, open space in a park. So I think that if the public hearing notices, I was saying this before, but that maybe they should have been posted on some of the trees, like where you would actually be seeing the houses that you now you see trees. Well, you see where he cleared them, but I feel like those are really your neighbors. You know what I mean? And I think that the people who are in the park, I don't feel like they were adequately notified. And I think that what this is doing is it's calling attention to the fact that it is, that it does need to be looked at as a whole. Also, actually your neighbors are also the people on North Manheim, whose backyards are of that right now, where the steep slope is that goes down into the stream, and which is already, it's subdivided on this map, and I'm still not 100% clear on what exactly has permission for already. And I feel like I didn't understand that from the start.
Thank you. These are things, again, that we get to speak about in the application review, and the public hearing is for the public to bring any questions that they have. So if you would like to hear the public, if you would like to have the public hearing remain open, then we can go through that process. So we'll need a motion to keep the public hearing open for another week.
It would be another couple weeks.
Another couple of weeks, that's right. Another week.
It wouldn't be until the first January meeting. Do you want to take this vote by roll call?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I move to keep the public hearing open till the next meeting.
Okay, and then second?
Second.
All in favor?
Okay. John?
No, I'm not in favor.
Okay.
I'm
Zach?
not in favor either.
Okay.
Aye.
Zach, aye.
Aye.
Rachel's aye. And then Raquel?
I'm not in favor.
Okay.
So with that, the motion has been defeated, so that we will not be holding the public hearing open until the next session.
I think Rick wants to unmute. Hold on.
Oh, yeah, sorry, Rick.
I just wanted to say that you need now a motion to actually close the public hearing.
Okay. So I need now a motion to close the public hearing.
So motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Nay.
Nay.
So the public hearing is officially closed now. Okay, so we are moving to the application review for the PB 2011 and PB 12, 31 Millbrook. Alana, why don't you go ahead and just unmute everybody if you would, please, and let's make conversation a little bit easier. Okay. Where do we stand on the site plan for you, Floyd? What items are we still lacking a lot from him?
I submitted the driveway easement last week, and I still don't have approval on the septic renewals.
When do you think you're going to get that?
I hope within a week or so. They had us change the name to the proposed buyers.
Okay. Zach, do you have any questions for Mr. Niffen?
Yeah, well, my first question would be about the stormwater runoff, and I was wondering what sort of studies were done, or who designed the drainage system, and what considerations were taken when designing that to make sure that, you know, excessive stormwater or any contamination didn't make it into the Millbrook stream.
Are you referring to permanent or during construction?
I was referring to permanent features of the development.
So permanent, there is no stormwater structures or means to contain it designed for permanent for both lots. During construction, there is silt and erosion control fencing installed downslope from the work as we're building the house.
Okay.
Now, are these fences temporary, or are you looking, Zach, to find out what's more of a permanent solution?
I was more looking to find out what the permanent solutions were, and I guess I'm not exactly an expert in this either, but I was wondering if any engineers or other experts were consulted in the creation of these designs.
The only drainage work that has been designed for it was upslope of the septic fields. That was the only drainage that was felt was needed, so that the septics wouldn't get overloaded with with runoff from above. So both lots have swales upslope from the septics. You can see that on the both site plans.
Yeah. Well, I guess my suggestion, I'd like to suggest that we ask the applicant to hire a consultant to look at these designs and make sure that they are not going to impact the stream or the wetlands in a negative way.
Well, we really can't move forward to any sort of approval until we get the approval of the septic, because these are pretty essential to kind of merit withholding the site plan approval until we have those things
I see.
back. So as far as hiring a consultant to look at the plans, that would be a cost that would have to be borne by the applicant. And what, I guess I'm a little, I'm not concerned. I'm just questioning what would it take to satisfy those concerns? Just do you know, so that it might be something that we can ask the applicant to do, as opposed to having a consultant study it over a period of time and then.
John?
Yes.
If I could just weigh in for a second as to what is typically done in a lot of cases. Normally, it's a bit larger site plan than what each of these lots are. In many municipalities, lots like this, once they get approved by a subdivision, you just have to get a building permit to build a house. But looking at it, in what your powers are under site plan is that you certainly do have the ability to address stormwater runoff on any individual site plan. You can't talk about what should be done with respect to lands outside of the site plan, but you can look at what it is. Typically that would be done, and it's not a very in-depth analysis, is that the applicant would get an engineer, their engineer, to go ahead and just say where the stormwater flow is going and why that's an appropriate place for it to go. And then the planning board would usually, again, not without a lot of intensive work, would have their engineer just look at what the other engineer looked at and said, yeah, that looks fine, or no, I think we need a detention basin here to hold it for a little bit, because otherwise you'd have flow off of the site at a greater rate post-development than pre-development. But these are things that engineers do all the time. It's pretty black and white.
Okay.
I can tell you what area looked particularly concerning when we went on the site visit was the way the road has been dug into the hill, basically, so that at the side of the road, on the side of the hill, there's just a very steep upgrade that's been dug in there. It looks very fragile. I could share pictures of it with you, but I'm right now sort of technologically hampered. By the next time we have a meeting, I'll have a better computer. I have questions about the driveway. It's right now, I mean, it really does resemble a road, and I'm wondering, are there going to be garbage trucks and mail trucks on that? It's being called a driveway. Does that mean that the garbage trucks are going to go over that, right across the stream there and through the woods right there?
Oh, you asked, sorry, someone was
Yes,
knocking
please.
on our office door.
I'm asking whether garbage trucks and delivery trucks, moving vans, whether these are going to be driving along, what you're calling a driveway, but it's essentially like an extension of Mill Rock Road that goes across the stream and into the woods. Are the garbage trucks going to be going across the stream and into the woods there?
So certainly, I would imagine the delivery and moving vans. I'm not sure what the garbage company will decide, if they'll drive down the driveway or not. They don't come down my driveway. We roll our cans out to the road, so I'm not sure if they'll go to the other driveways or not.
Right, but what you're calling your road is what you're calling an extended drive. You're calling that a shared driveway. They would go right in front of your house and keep going.
Yeah.
That's what I'm asking, is that what they're going to do? Or are they going to all have to bring their garbage down to your, across the bridge to the dead end of Mill Rock? I mean,
I haven't asked, but I can certainly ask, I guess County Waste is who I have to ask for that.
Those are very soft, like right there, I know, because that's a way that they've developed the development right behind yours, Lent Farms. And, by sort of making these shared driveways. And I can tell you, they, almost instantly, they fill with potholes, the very steep ones, and it's a constant battle. And I think that heavy trucks going right there would probably be a bad idea. And I'm also wondering whether you said you were going to make it partly permeable, partly impermeable, the surface with which you're going to pave it. I mean, is there going to be asphalt going along there into the woods?
For the shared driveway,
Yeah,
we're going to pave 12 feet of it, which would be the width of a typical driveway, and then the sides would remain gravel, so that if people needed to pass,
so
they
it
would
would
have
be
to pave it.
12 feet wide and going into the woods, asphalt.
Yeah, when you say going into the woods, are you referring going off of what the driveway is?
No. I'm referring to what you're calling a driveway that's basically like an extension of Mill Rock Road. Because you're calling it a shared driveway, but you've got one basically what would normally be a road, and then you've got the other driveways coming off of it.
Right.
So I'm talking about that because that goes right along the stream, and it's right now it's graded so that there's sort of steep edges on either side of it.
Sorry,
So I
if I
think
could just come in, Rick, is there a way, like, because I don't want us to lose sight of what the subdivision approval was for, and I feel like we're going backwards in a sense and saying that, like, I don't want to use this application as an opportunity to refute what was already approved, and I feel like that is where we've kind of gotten stuck.
If there is, and I'm trying to open it up here so I can see what it is. In the application materials was, I believe, the subdivided map that was filed.
Right.
It's dated, I think back in 2013. Yes, this September 16th, 2013. And on there, it shows what has already been permitted, including those two driveways. Or it looks like two driveways to me. I guess it's a common driveway. And it also shows a cross-section of what the materials will be made of for that driveway. And that's what's been approved. And and they're required to go ahead and develop it in accordance with that construction detail showing the roadway, the base course, the pavement, et cetera. So that's going to be required. It shows what the subdivisions line are. It looks to me, and this is what I don't understand, but I'm sure Floyd would be able to advise the board, is that behind those lots, adjacent to the driveways, common driveway, it looks like the property line ends at the driveway, at the backside of the driveway, all along. And then in the wetlands behind, is that owned by someone else, or is that retained by you, Floyd? Who owns that lot? I don't know how to get into the county system that easily.
If you're referring to the west, depending on which map, are you looking at the subdivision map?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, so to the west or to the left, that's still my property.
Okay, so you own that property, which looks like it from the contour lines that it's fairly steep in certain areas and goes down to some federal wetlands.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, are there also state wetlands or just federal?
Just the federal wetlands.
Okay. All right, and so this board is not allowed to really, as to this application, requiring him to do anything outside of the two lots that are part of your application. So, but you can address the two lots that are before you, as I said, with respect to stormwater runoff. That's something that is typically addressed in site plans, and that's what you're addressing here is site plans. So my suggestion is that Mr. Niffen submit to the board for review by the planning board's engineer the stormwater plan calculations so that it can be determined whether or not it's flowing off site at a greater rate than it should. And if it's not and everything seems fine, then that's the end of it with respect to stormwater. If it looks like there's a problem with it, then the either Mr. Niffen's engineer or the planning board engineer can suggest different ways in which to control stormwater. And there are many ways to do it, and they're fairly simple most of the time. These are not huge lots, so it's not going to generate a lot of water, typically anyway. I haven't looked at the exact direction of the contours, et cetera, on this lot, but it's something that is really kind of like meat and potatoes for civil engineers to address the stormwater issues on a lot.
Okay, so right now what we're going to do is we're not going to address those issues that were approved in 2013, road grade, driveway, traffic. But I think that we can certainly, and we are going to request, Floyd, that you have your engineer take a look at the stormwater runoff and mitigation efforts. And then our engineer, what is our engineering firm again, Alana? It's
Partner with Judas?
Partner with Judas, okay.
Or is it Bernier and Larios? I always confuse those two.
Larios, I think, right?
Larios one. Larios.
It's Larios, right? Okay.
And if you can get that to, have that done and get that to the village engineer as quickly as possible. And then Alana, we're going to make sure that we make Mr. Larios aware that that is going to be coming. And then we can look at that at our next meeting, along with having hopefully Floyd, the approval on the septic as well, given the name changes. And hopefully we'll be able to terminate this and finish this off then. Any other questions that we need to have for him? Because we are kind of at a point where we really can't go forward because we do need to get the applications for these septic back and approved. And we do want to have these questions answered. Is there anything else that we feel is necessary right now to explore with the applicants? No? Okay. So Floyd, if you can get that to us this next meeting, that would be great. Alana, when is the next meeting? January
5th or 4th? It's the 5th.
Okay, so if we can have all this done back by January 5 from Mr. Larios so that we can get that information to the board, so you guys will have an opportunity to look at it, study it, and compare it to the site plan maps that he's provided.
If I could just follow up, John, just briefly with respect to what I believe is Mr. Niffin's engineer should be looking at is the flow of stormwater and the rate and where it's going. Obviously, the concern is that it's just not flowing all the way off the property at an uncontrolled rate into wetlands. That's would be a problem. Even though the wetlands are off-site, you can't go ahead and have something on your site that's going to somehow degrade or adversely affect some wetlands. So he would look at it and say, this is where it is, and maybe he would have a small retention basin above ground or below ground, or maybe just a way to otherwise divert it in a way and hold it so that it doesn't adversely affect. Typically, what is being looked at by engineers is whether or not the rate of stormwater flow off the site is at a greater rate post-development than pre-development. Obviously, you're going to have more water going off because you're going to have some impervious surfaces where you didn't before, but it's the rate of that has to remain the same pre and post development under typical civil engineering rules for development.
And just to be clear, I'm going to send whatever Floyd's engineer does. I will send that to Bernier and Larios. And then, John, we can talk about this offline, but this application did not require escrow because of nature. So I don't know if this is a charge then that I guess we'll have the planning board come out of the planning board budget because we didn't ask Floyd for escrow.
Yeah. No. This has become a bit more complex than anticipated. So yes. Okay. All right, Floyd, do you understand what we need, sir?
Yeah. Yes, I do.
Okay. All right. So we are going to then kind of close the review here, and we will be looking forward to getting that information from you. Okay.
Okay. Thanks.
All right. Thank you. So the next item on our application review is PB 2013 Broadhead Avenue. The applicant is Stewart's Shops. Rick, you want to give us a quick summary on this? I have your note that we've not received the final subdivision plat from Stewart's, and Stewart's representative is here, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here.
Hey, Chuck, how are you?
I'm alive and well. I feel like I'm like I should delineate my number of appearances like the Macy's Day Parade. Like this is my 75th appearance regarding, this site.
just because you love us so much.
I think I actually have enough credits to be a member minus the resident component.
So where we are, John, yes, we need to briefly summarize. So where we are is that Stewart's has graciously allowed itself to go ahead and at the request of the village, donate that home on the property and a small plot of land around it. And it will go directly to the village at first. And then the village may end up keeping it. They're trying to go ahead and see if they can, I think they've put out or may put out RFPs to go ahead and see if somebody can take it over and restore it and make it the historic structure in a significant way that it's supposed to be. And so Stewart said, yes, we can do it. Obviously, the only way for that to happen is through a subdivision, which is what this application is about. It's just that very minor subdivision of this one small parcel off the property. Unfortunately, because of state rules and rules of the code, it gets a little bit more complicated as to the information that must be put on the plat, et cetera. So you had received previously a sketch plan, a very detailed sketch plan, but a sketch plan nonetheless. And it needed more information. I don't believe for instance, the survey courses were noted on the plat, et cetera. And this is something that has to be filed in the county. And so normally the county requires some of this information as well. You have a provision in your code that says, all right, for simple ones, I think it's 4 lots or less. So this would certainly apply. You have to put on less information. And we talked about that last time. And I know Chuck is aware of what that is and therefore what he has to put on the plans. Those haven't yet been submitted, which is fine. So today, what would happen, what I suggest happen is this. We can do seeker this evening. We can set a public hearing because a public hearing is required for all subdivisions under state law. And then sufficiently before that public hearing, and Alana can probably give a date, the plans need to be in so that the planning board members and the public have an opportunity to review the actual plat in accordance with the requirements of the code. And then once that public hearing is closed, you would, in my opinion, because you'll probably close seeker tonight, you'll be able to vote on the application and approve it, and then have the plan go ahead and be put up for signature by John and then filed with the county.
The only thing I would like to offer is that the sketch plan to the final subdivision plan, I copied Alana on a series of correspondence between us and DOT because we were trying to minimize the number of trips our surveyor makes. We were trying to satisfy DOT's component for the permanent easement for the light. They have not gotten back to us. They're in a similar position where they've been given a draft of a map. They have not given us any additional information. So what we're going to head and do, our surveyor will be in the field on Thursday or Friday. Obviously now with this pending snowstorm, I'm not sure if that's going to maintain the schedule. But we will be able to present on the 4th or 5th a final subdivision plat, and that will have the survey courses on. So I should be able to get that in that week of like the 28th.
Okay. Get that by the week of the 20th. All right. So Bill Murray, representing the village, says he has a comment that he would like to make, if you would, please.
No, actually, John, I was just asking to be unmuted in case I need to make a comment, but not this previous second.
Okay. Okay. So with that in mind, you're telling us that you will receive that information by the 28th. Is that correct?
It's my intent to submit it by the 28th, provided the survey is not affected by this snowstorm.
Right. Right.
Do we want to then maybe put this on, unless it's a problem for either the village or Chuck, for the second meeting in January, which then would give some leeway for the submission? It doesn't matter to me, but rather than trying to force it into the first meeting and then it not being done in time because of the survey problems. I don't know if either the village or Chuck, you have some deadlines with respect to this that you'd prefer to have it at the first meeting.
To be honest with you, this is, us trying to accommodate the village. So, I'll defer to Bill.
Sure.
The short answer on my end is no.
Yeah, I don't see an issue bumping in another couple of weeks. It'd be actually preferred to go earlier, but we've got maybe 20 inches of snow coming our way, so that's going to be very difficult for the next couple of weeks to get a survey done.
I'm sorry, Rick, though, just to clarify, we can move forward with a negative declaration tonight.
Yeah, we can go ahead and do seeker tonight.
Because, and the reason, it's a very good question, because a lot of times you want to wait for seeker until you have the final information pretty much before you many times. But actually seeker is supposed to be done as early as possible. And for subdivisions, it's actually mandated that you complete seeker before you have a public hearing.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, so let's do this. Let's go ahead and move to seeker, and then following the seeker, we will then move to set the public hearing. So we have the SEF parts 2 and 3 for us to review here. Did everybody get a chance to look at those?
Mm-hmm.
The short environmental assessment form?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So based upon, and Rick, help me out here with
Sure.
the.
So what it is that this is part 1 of the short environmental assessment form was submitted by stewards with their application. Based upon that and based upon the information you received to date, my office prepared this part 2, which is your job to go ahead and prepare, the planning board's job. And given the questions, it seemed like there were little or no impacts with respect to any of these things. And that's because it's a very simple application of just chopping off a small piece of property. And it doesn't really affect the rest of the property, doesn't affect anything off-site. So it seems pretty clear, unless somebody has a particular question with respect to the 11 questions that are posed. And then the part 3 is just the really the wording that is your conclusion, your what they call determination of significance. Here would be a negative declaration. So this would say why, based upon the above, this would be a negative declaration. So if you vote to approve the short environmental assessment form as submitted, including the part 3 determination of significance is a negative declaration, and you vote on it, you'll be all done.
Okay. So let's take a look at this real quickly here so that we can go through this. In case some of you have not ever seen the short environmental assessment form. It has the 11 questions here, so we're going to go through these. The first one is, will the proposed action create a material conflict with an adopted land use plan or zoning regulation? So no or small impact may occur. It's been checked as no or small impact may occur unless there are any other people that object to that. Will the proposed action result in a change in the use or intensity of the use of the land? And again, we're just talking about that small portion, not Stewart's in its total. And so no or small impact may occur, or moderate to large impact may occur. Thoughts?
I mean,
Impact.
Okay. Will the proposed action have an impact on the environmental characteristics that cause the establishment of a critical environmental area? No or small impact, or
Well,
moderate to
that's
large?
no, because it's not in a critical environmental
That's
area.
true. Okay.
And number 3 was also whether or not it impaired the character or quality of the existing community. And again, we're talking just about a subdividing, that is basically drawing imaginary lines. So you're really not doing anything to the environment itself. That's why everything is really no. You're just drawing imaginary lines on a map in the county saying that this is now going to get taxed to a different entity.
Okay. So number 5, will the proposed action result in adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walkway? That was no on that one. Will the proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy and fails to incorporate reasonably available energy conservation or renewable energy opportunities? That one's no as well. Then we get to, will the proposed action impact existing public or private water supplies or public-private wastewater treatment facilities? Both of those have been checked as no. So will the proposed action impair the character or quality of important historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources? That one is listed as no. Will the proposed action result in an adverse change to natural resources such as wetlands, water bodies, groundwater, air quality, flora, and fauna? No. Will the proposed action result in an increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems? And then will the proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or human health? That's listed as no. So the determination of significance is should inefficient detail. So we then need to vote on determined based on the information analysis above and any supporting documentation that the proposed action will not result in any significant adverse environmental impacts. So need a motion or on determination that based on the information and analysis above, any supporting documentation, that the proposed action will not result in any significant adverse environmental impacts.
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we've checked that box, so that has been taken care of. And so now we need to set a meeting for a public hearing for the we can get the survey in.
The meeting's in January or January 5th or January 19th.
Let's go ahead and set that then for January 19th.
For the public hearing?
Okay, yeah.
You'll need a vote on that.
Is there
Yeah.
a motion?
I've lost something here. There.
A motion.
So we need a motion to set the public hearing for January 19th.
No motion.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. So the public hearing will occur then on the 19th. And that's it. So
Chuck, just one other thing. When I was looking on your sketch plan, just make sure that everything is put on that's set forth in that code provision. I didn't see any water and sewer lines to the house, for instance, and I think you need to be showing those on the plan so that it can be shown that there are water and sewer service for not only your parcel, but the parcel that's being subdivided off.
Yeah, there are some modifications. Those were identified. Everything will be compliant.
I'm sure it will.
all right, so we will get the more detail on that sketch plan. We'll have all the other information. Plans will be here for review. Public hearing set for the second meeting in January. I believe that's all we have for that on that. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
One more thing. I assume that you'd also want to authorize me to have a resolution of approval for that next meeting? The draft?
Yes, because I think we can take care of everything at that meeting. So if you would please, gonna have the resolution of approval ready. Again, because it's just a small carving out of an existing site plan already.
Is there a motion?
Yes, let's do that. A motion to have the resolution of approval created and ready for the meeting on January 19th.
So
So
moved.
motion.
Second?
I second.
All
That
in
was at the same time.
Aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Chuck, we'll see you at the 76th Thanksgiving Day Parade on January
I'm gonna
19th.
get a. I think I'm gonna get a float.
Floats are
Good one,
fun.
guys.
Looks good.
Bye.
Okay.
For the rest of the board, just before you go on, John, as you were going through even this short form, environmental assessment form, this is what should have been done back in 13 with respect to the different one for the subdivision, for instance. It might have been a long form, but it certainly should have had to have been at least this short form. And as you heard John read out some of the questions, if you didn't have it in front of you, it talked about stormwater and talked about flooding or drainage or wetlands and whether or not there was going to be anything adverse. So it should have been raised at that time. Unfortunately, if it wasn't, the law says that somebody gets vested in their approvals and you can't revisit that just because it may have been done incorrectly. But that's the type of issues, that's when it comes up. Fortunately for you on a stormwater issue, that's still something that you can address in site plan, even outside of seeker. So that's why you're addressing it now.
Again, I wasn't trying to be argumentative before. I just that's the kind of the point that I was trying to touch on earlier. Where unfortunately, it's done that way.
Right. No, I think you're absolutely right, Raquel.
Yeah.
So the lesson there is do it right the first time so you don't have to do it twice.
You don't have to live with it.
Years later.
Get done poorly. Okay, well, with that in mind, thank you all. That concludes all the business that we have for this evening. Anyone have any comments they'd like to make before we take off?
One quick comment. I'd like to bring up something that I saw in the live chat in YouTube. There were a number of comments after public commenting was closed that I can send to the board, but people having difficulty logging in, feeling like the comments were closed too quickly. So I think I would like to suggest that next time we leave, even just during the meeting, leave the time for commenting, the time that we wait for comments from YouTube open a little longer.
Okay, that's understandable. One of the things that to note is that a lot of planning boards don't have a period of time where people can comment. It's not actually required. It's something that we've instituted back before Michael Zerler was actually running the board. And with the way that we're doing things now with the Zoom meetings, it's really hard to know how to address it. If you're in a room, then you say, okay, anybody has a public comment, step up here, let us know who you are, make your comment, we record it, and there's a specified period of time where it can go on. But it's like with public hearings as well, which are mandated and have a beginning, a definite beginning and an end. I don't really know the best way to manage it in a Zoom atmosphere.
I do.
You do?
I can speak to this.
Would you speak to this, please?
I am extremely available via email. As anyone will know, if you email me, I usually respond within 30 seconds. My email is everywhere. I wish, if people are watching, if you email me, I will send your comment to the planning board. I will make sure that they see it. I will make sure that they address it. We also did the neighbor representative for Rich Steffens' project because I was made aware in advance that there were people that were concerned. And so in order to have an orderly conversation via Zoom, because this is such a strange platform, I asked a neighbor if he would volunteer to represent the other neighbors. And so they wrote a letter together and he was able to attend the Zoom meeting and speak on their behalf while people were already in the YouTube chat watching. And so I found that to be a very effective way because the members and the public were able to have a conversation. via Zoom. And so it really comes down to, if people reach out to me, I will respond to you. There's been some occasions recently where people are getting really upset in the moment. And it's like, if you would just email me earlier in the day or the day before, it wouldn't have been that way. So I just want to put that out there. I'm very available. People can email me. I'll answer immediately. I'm a millennial. I'm constantly on my email. I'm always there. So just want to put that out there.
I guess then the question becomes, how do we make the notice more ubiquitous? How do we make the notice for people that this is occurring? So,
but John, see, I mean, I have a difficult time like reconciling that, because if one person can do it, anybody can do it. And I think that the Steffens example was really great. I mean, we had tons of comments for multiple weeks, and the format was the same way that we have right now. So it's, you know, it's like, it's just hard for me to reconcile.
Mm-hmm.
But we can also start posting. I know that I post the public hearing notices on the website. And there's also a feature on the website where you can sign up so that anytime there's a new post, you will get an email that says that there's been a post.
Yeah.
That's an option. We could also try and have people like me or Ariana to post the public hearing notices on the Facebook page, because I don't think they go on there right now. So that would just be another way. But like, the reason we have so many different methods of notification is because if one of them does not work,
yeah,
the hope is that another one of them will. So it's not intended for all of those to work.
The way that the meetings were in person, if someone was there and it was closed already, it would also be too late. So it's just, you have to be on time, and that's all we can do.
Correct, and I agree with that. But I think that we need to make as great an opportunity for people to participate as possible by having many notifications out there. And then once we're satisfied that we've done that, should people not attend and speak, then the onus is on them. It's not on us, because we've done our part to make it available and that information out and available.
I agree.
So why don't you see if we can put that on the Facebook page, Alana? Just giving us one more, but to your point, Raquel, I absolutely agree. There's once it's known, and once we've done everything we can, how much is enough? And at some point we have to say we've done a fair bidding on it.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So if somebody were, let's say somebody were trying to join the public hearing and they were having technical difficulties, how would we be able to know that the person had been trying? I mean, obviously if the meeting were in person, you would hear someone banging on the door if they couldn't get in. But in a situation like this,
they email me. I monitor my email during the meeting. There have been a few occasions where I've gotten emails or I've gotten texts or.
I hear you. But if somebody were trying to get into the public hearing by clicking that link, would they know to email you?
I mean, people take the initiative to email me. There's only so much we can do in this instance. And I feel like we're doing a lot with the parameters that we're given in the midst of an unprecedented global pandemic as we continue to try and allow government to function. Like, I really feel like we are doing a lot.
You are doing a good bit more than almost every other municipality.
So, I mean, it's a shame if, someone encounters a technical difficulty and they don't get through, but I will also say too, if they don't get through in that meeting, they're still free to email me after the fact, and I will always pass it along. And hopefully there's a way we can, address their concern after the fact. But I really try and look at it from different angles of how things could go wrong and mitigate those concerns. And there's only so much that I can do.
Agreed. Yes, Zach, you have
one thing. I mean, Alana, you do an amazing job, and I'm not arguing that we should be posting it more broadly. I think just specifically regarding YouTube comments, if we are accepting public comments from YouTube, we should give a little more time, because there is a lag between the YouTube live stream and our conversations here.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think just allowing a full minute even from when we say like, okay, no more comments, let's close the public comment
and
section.
that's why I try to read what the business is, and to go over anything else that we need to go over, administrative ideas, whatever, to allow people to have that time to respond, because I do know that there is a time lag, that it's not immediate, you know, there is a lag time on it. So we'll see what we can do to try to address that. Maybe we can take a few more minutes. Maybe we can announce at the very beginning of the meeting that public comments are now open. You have approximately 10 minutes to respond, or something of that nature, which would allow people to have notice that they have an amount of time, and then we can go on with our business. And then perhaps between one section and another section of the agenda, we can then read any comments at that point.
Hey, John, just one quick thing.
Yes, sir.
Public comments and public hearing are two separate things.
Correct.
Public comments, you can come in and discuss speeders on your local road, snow removal, anything you want. Is that what we're discussing? Or are we talking about trying to get a more accurate and open section for public hearings that deal with a specific application?
No, we are talking about the opportunity for people to have public comments about the whatever they would like to comment on at the beginning of the meeting. The public hearings are based upon getting notices out to those people who are immediately surrounding the area and who would have a vested interest, giving them opportunity to speak at the hearing related to that, to the site plan or the application that's going on.
Exactly, and I've gone through this many times. You have to post your notice visibly, and then you're given a list of people that you have to mail the information to. And Alana does a great job making sure everyone is contacted. Public comments, again, we don't get a lot of public comments for the planning board because they're usually not things that we relate to.
True. And then the responsibility for the public hearing is once the information has been sent out, the notice is sent out, the responsibility is really transferred to those people who wish to speak, as opposed to the applicant. So,
correct.
Any comments on that before we knock off and head out? No? Rick Golden? No? Okay. All right.
Oh my God. Okay.
No, we've done this for 9 months, and it's every time it's like it's the first time we've done it.
I'm extremely over it. Okay.
Okay, with that in mind, I would like to have a
Motion to close.
motion to close.
Very good.
Back in.
They're beating me to it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, very good. Thank you all
Well,
very
see
much.
each other before the new year. So happy New Year.
Yeah.
What was that,
Thank you,
Rebecca?
everybody. Be safe. Be safe.
Take
Good
care.
Night all.
Bye-bye.
Good night, everybody.